There's no one here. Right? Have you ever had a feeling while playing Gmod in single player that's uneasy? You might have even gotten it from that intro, flashbacks to your time in 2012 when you listened to Living Tombstone FNAF music while screaming RDM at someone doing fail RP in a serious pony dark roleplay server. Or if you're under the age of 12, apparently it's this toilet thing. Look, I ain't bashing. In my time, a guy with a large head throwing computer screens at people and yelling hacks was the peak of comedy. But this uneasy feeling is hard to describe, but if you've felt it, you know it. It's like someone is watching you, that you aren't alone. But it seems to come about when alone on Gmod maps, such as Construct or Downtown. It's a topic that has been covered before by inferior YouTubers with voices so soft that it's like someone is pouring liquid pillow in your ear. But I don't think anyone's really taken a deep dive into why this feeling happens or even where else it arises. Because actually, Gmod isn't the only place this feeling happens, and we can see where this feeling is most prevalent by what horror stories and media surrounds the properties. For instance, there was a huge wave of Gmod ARGs and spooky videos last year, many based on the more unsettling parts of But before we can delve into where else this uneasy feeling crops up, let's first dissect where this uneasy feeling comes from using Gmod as a reference. Hi, I'm Rad Chad, the Mad Lad, and are some of you your dad? And I just wanted to ask, are you alone? Some theories of where this feeling comes from point to the empty streets, or the ambience hinting that there should be more people, or even the more unsettling location. While I think these add to the overall atmosphere and heighten this uneasy feeling, I don't think it's the main contributor of it. As you'll see over the course of this video, there is a consistent through line between every example I cover, and that is our expectation. And the expectation is directly correlated to Gmod being a multiplayer game. You see, these spaces are built for many players to inhabit. We have a cognitive understanding that there could be other players playing alongside us. When you are on a server with other players, even if you can't see them, you know they're out there goofing around.
Illegal weapons?
You can't see them. Let me ask you, how would you feel if you thought you were playing alone, but someone else was actually playing with you? You can't see them, they don't show up on the leaderboard, but they're there. This is the epicenter of this uneasy feeling, I believe. We subconsciously expect other people, other players to inhabit this space, but you can't see them. So your brain starts to feel like there's someone you can't see, just out of sight, just around the corner. This is why a lot of Gmod ARG horror starts out with having that one totally a dead body IRL model, hiding off in the distance in like a window or something. The horror of this effect comes from our brain filling in the gaps. Since our brain thinks someone is there but can't see them, we begin to worry about what that entity is and their intention. This is why I think the ambience in the empty space also contributes to this feeling, but aren't necessarily the main cause of it. The empty space and ambience build up the expectation that others should inhabit them. These extra elements are why the uneasy feeling is particularly noticeable in Gmod. But the main feeling is from the fact it is a potentially multiplayer game, and our expectations that other players could inhabit this space.
Hey, owner of Fortnite, weren't you the mayor? No!
But Ratchet, the man lad, and to some of you, you're dead. I don't believe you, and I hate you, and you're smelly. And you need to prove your points to me, or else I will cry aggressively at you. I hear in your usual whiny bitch-ass voice. Shut the fuck up, okay? There's still runtime in the video, like, just chill. You don't need to be mean to me. That's just uncalled for. There's no reason to say those mean things. But you need proof that it being a multiplayer game and single player is where this uneasy feeling comes from? Then how about a horror game made in 2019 in which you play in a multiplayer lobby that no one else is there until an entity joins, but you can't initially see them, so you get an uneasy feeling about what they could do to you? Oh, and also it has an ARG, I guess? No Players Online is famously known for being played by Markiplier. Unfortunately, because of that, no one realized that outside of Markiplier's gameplay, that there was this deep rabbit hole ARG full of lore and horror. Even more unfortunately is that I don't care, and I won't be talking about it. The important part is the game itself. You join an online lobby of a Quake or Half-Life-esque game, and like a try-hard loser, capture the enemy flag when there are no players to stop you. But a portion of the way through, you see a new player join, but you can't see them, and with the map so small, surely you would have bumped into them by now. It creates very directly that uneasy feeling that we felt in Gmod. Then Ghost appeared. Oh! Like, I get it. Me in 2019 was like, ah, fuck! And me, when I played it for this video, was like, nah. And Married Plywood was like,
listen, buddy, you wanna mess with the likes of me?
But once we start getting the context that this is some apparition and that it's this random guy's sister or girlfriend, I don't know, I don't care. When we get into that, we lose the uneasy feeling. But this game was able to capitalize on the uneasy feelings that multiplayer games have when you play them alone. So, 2 cases of this uneasy multiplayer feeling being used for the spooks in the last 4 years. But Radchad the man, like, can you please shut the fuck up? I will gouge out your eyes. What my strawman of you was going to say is if this is a feeling that comes from multiplayer games, how come we haven't seen this capitalized as a horror trend before? No, I was gonna say I have killed for less. Herobrine. It absolutely fucks with my mind that there are maybe some toddlers in the audience who don't know who Herobrine is. Even the snot-guzzling gremlins, who also do play Minecraft, may not remember the mythical legendary legend that is Herobrine. If that's you, stop rewatching Skibidi Toilet and do your fucking homework, you insignificant grape. As you can tell, I have a strong passion for bullying children. But do you know what isn't a children? Herobrine. Herobrine was an urban legend that propped up in 2010 on the stanky ass crack of the internet, 4chan. It followed a gamer who was playing in Minecraft single player, but noticed a spooky entity with the skin of Steve, but he had pale white eyes. Ooh. The terrifying apparition would do such horrifying acts as steal blocks or create sandcastles. Truly a fiend not to be trifled with. I jest and snicker, yet this creature was absolutely terrifying to me when I was but a wee boy. Why? It's because me started to wee in his own Minecraft worlds, thinking this spooky being could possibly be there. It didn't matter if he was or wasn't. The idea that an entity could be there absolutely made me terrified and paranoid. To the point where sometimes, when I started playing Minecraft alone, I'd feel this overwhelming uneasiness, who caused me to close the game entirely or hide in a corner. This is all without mentioning how the sounds of Minecraft and the overwhelming loneliness and quietness of the world exasperates this paranoia even more. Minecraft is a horror game. And no, I do not believe them when they say they removed Herobrine. That motherfucker is still out there. It's been 4,600 days and I haven't slept. What if he's out there? What if Herobrine builds a sandcastle in my house? But this is yet another example of horror being derived from the fear of another player being in your supposedly single-player session. But my good sir, you propose that these fears come about from our disturbation of multiplayer video games' implication that fellow beings may inhabit the play spaces which we presume are only for the individual. Yet I am skeptical, for I do not believe humans are innately terrified of multiplayer games. I could accept your theorems if you found such examples occurring in media that isn't games, yet I doubt you have enough intelligence for such ponderances. Your family won't have a body to bury. Liminal means transitionary space, which is the perfect transition into what we'll be talking about next. Here is an image. Here's another. No one is in these images. Do you believe me though? You may feel an uneasy feeling at these images. If not, then you're a contrarian who just wants to ruin my video that I worked very hard on. That's kinda fucked up, bro. But I believe Liminal Space invokes the same feeling that Gmod, No Players Online, and Minecraft does, despite not being a multiplayer game. You see, Liminal predisposes that these are transitionary spaces. Spaces that take you from one place to another. Spaces where we expect movement, where we expect people. Many of these liminal space images feel as though all signs of life have just been removed. Yet they're not decayed or ruined, they're just not there. But we have so many memories of spaces like these fully inhabited. It's like that uneasy feeling when you're at school after dark or work in an empty supermarket, because we remember these spaces full of people. We feel like someone should be there. So where are they? Who are they? If there's someone here, why aren't they showing themselves? What happened to everyone else? Are you alone? Which answer is worse? The overwhelming loneliness or the unknowable threat? This is the horror of the uneasy feeling. We have no answer, so our worst fear becomes the creeping feeling at the back of our mind. We are both stricken with overwhelming loneliness and the paranoia that someone is watching. Our mind scrambles for an answer, trying to grab at what is just out of reach. The longer we can't see the person, thing, or entity, the more our paranoia builds, till we lose our mind. This is the horror of the Backrooms. In games, developers don't usually populate game spaces the player isn't intended to see. So they become strange mishmashes of pale walls and empty rooms. This is what the Backrooms is based on. The horrifically empty spaces that you end up in once you step out of the bounds of our reality. They stretch and morph, architecture that doesn't make sense yet feels too familiar. Imagine if every feeling I described thus far was an actual space, an area you as a person were put into and had to navigate, and it's just you, alone. Or are you? Well, apparently fucking yes. We couldn't have something subtle and nice. We couldn't have horror that doesn't rely on spooky monsters and scary entities. Horror that preys on paranoia and existential dread. No! Y'all had to make your fucking video games and marketable plushies. Look, these monsters are pretty neat they're pretty neat concepts, they're pretty neat designs. But when people think about the Backrooms, they don't think about the creeping paranoia and this terrifying image. They think of squiglos and smileys and every streamer going ah at the 10 billionth Backroom game. Here! I have outlined the exact spooky. Look, you can just prey on the fear of the unknown, utilize spaces that we expect others to be in, and give people the uncanny feeling that there should be someone else there. Be it through the modes of play, such as multiplayer games when you're alone, or architecture which we expect to be filled and inhabited. But how the fuck did goddamn Herobrine Minecraft do this better than you guys? Hey, hello, you weren't alone, I was here the whole time, good old me. Don't worry, there's no spookies in here, there's no spookies. Unless you don't subscribe and like, or support me on the Patreon. Then I guess I'll have to get pretty spooky on you.